Just missed the dancing. Oh. Hi everybody, Robert John Miller Garden Machinery. Today, we're outside in the sunshine. Well, a little bit of sunshine. Anyway, so we're doing an iMOW installation. One of the new iMOW 7 EVOs we're putting in today. So, it's not a case just turning up and going, there's your iMOW, Mr. Customer, off you go. There's a little bit of prep work to do. Nat will probably cut some shots in a bit later in the video of me and Stu scratching our heads. Stuart's doing a bit more scratching at the moment. Just figuring out where the wires are going, where the boundary wires, where the guide wires are going. This garden is around about, looking at, I think from the memory from the quote, it's about 4,500 square metres that we're doing. So just over an acre. So it's a large garden. Bits of stuff we need. We normally, when we do an iMOW installation, we bring some mowers with us. The machine we use, which is over there, is a cable laying machine. Obviously cuts a slice in the ground and lays the cable. It's easier to do it on really short grass. So what we do first is we cut the boundary and wherever the wires are going out through the garden as short as we can without scalping it. Just aids in the machine putting the cable in nice and neatly. It doesn't start pulling tufts of grass up. Plus it also reminds us where we're putting it. Double-edged sort of thing on that. So yeah, so there's normally a couple of us doing it. Today we've come out mob-handed. Got some new people at the shop started, so cut mob-handed. But normally it's a couple of us do it. One of us mows around the outside with the boundary. We'll then decide on these new EVO 7s, or all the EVO models, shall I say. So the 5 EVO, the 6 EVO, and the 7 EVO all have guide wires that go out into the garden. I think I touched on it in the last video I did in the shop. And they're basically, on the EVO models, 3 wires that you put out. One, they will guide the mower back to the docking station. So the old models used to pick up, a lot of the time, used to pick up the boundary wire, follow the way home. I know some of the old 5s and some of the big 6s had the direct drive home. But these new machines, you've got 3 guide wires, and it will pick up whichever one it's closest to and follow its way home. So we're going to set them in the garden at spaced out distances, at relevant points where you think actually if the iMow's in a corner, instead of following the boundary wire, it's going to grab hold of the cable out in the middle and just follow its way home. And what it does is it'll offset the cable so it won't follow the same line, and they're trying to get away from having marks of the mower going the same way all the time. So like I said, 3 cables. It'll go one side or the other, depending which side it's closest to. And also the other point of that is the customer can segregate areas off if they had daffodils, something growing in an area. They can say, right, don't mow this part of the lawn for so many days or months or weeks, whatever you want to do. So you can just block that bit off and the iMow will do the rest of it. So, I'm going to stop it there for a minute. You catch. Check back in a bit once we start doing some of the work and see how it's going.
We have life.
Because that's just narrow bit all the way through.
Or do you want? Yeah, you probably do actually.
What, for coming home again?
Yeah. It takes an hour to get
your head around the garden. Go left a bit more, Stu. That big one there, I reckon.
Over here.
This is the cable layer that we use. I'll be perfectly honest with you. It's bloody horrible to use. But it makes it easier to put the cable in. So, and effectively it's just an engine on wheels with a roll drum of cable on we put on, and it's got a little, that comes round, got a little auger bit that twists, goes into the ground, and as it runs like so, cable gets fed out through there behind it on a bit of a knife, and then the wheels just flatten the ground back down, and this sets it in. You can see that's about 2 inches, 2¼ inches into the ground, so it's out of the way. So 90% of the time we'll put the cable underground with this machine, around tricky areas, so back up to the docking station, or if you're going around raised flower beds where you can't always get the machine close to it, then we'll peg it by hand, and after about 2 or 3 months the cable just kind of just sinks into the ground. It eats it up basically. So that's basically the cable layer we use to make life a bit easier. Otherwise you'd be here for days doing it, days. So Nat just pointed out why Stuart was making such a distance, like I said a minute ago. You need the gap because the iMOW pretty much follows the centre in the iMOW of the wire. So if you had it right over one side, it would just crash into all the obstacles. All right, so I reckon. Yeah, electric. There's electric cable. We going that side of it or this side of it? Yeah. You might wonder why we kept far off the water. You had to keep a metre away from water on installing iMows. Interferes with, I think, in case signal interference, electric, that sort of stuff. Don't quote me on that, but the instruction says a metre away from water. All right, that's tricky. You can see how tricky it is to use the cable layer machine. Right, we are on the way of getting everything in. So you just come a little bit closer here. So we started putting the boundary cable in, and then I've gone and cut the boundary cable in half. And you think, why have we done that for? On these new ones, that I mentioned about having the cables that go out through the lawn, obviously they need to connect to something. So where they connect, the cable is going to come in from the centre of the base station along the lawn to the boundary cable. Obviously we need to join it somehow, so we put a cut in. You have a 15 centimetre overlap on each side, and we put a joiner in there, and they'd have 3 wires going into one joiner, and that'll make the perimeter wire and the cable that goes out through the lawn all talk to the base station. Okay, so that's why I've done that, and we'll do that 3 times around the garden to get the 3 cables out. Spike in the arse. Could have got round there, I reckon. You want to bend it over a bit so you don't get spiked. Yeah. Right, everybody. I'm down in the dirt. Not because I want to, because this happens sometimes, which is a real pain in the backside. I'll keep it clean. Luckily, we didn't notice when we got to there. You know, as happened before, we've done like half the garden and then gone, oh, what's happened? So this has happened because around this tree there's loads of roots. So I think what's happened is we've gone over a tough root. It's got a bit snarled up, and it's just jammed the cable in the back of the layer, and it's just sort of rubbed against the root and snapped off. So another thing to look out for. But normally you get us to install it, so it wouldn't be an issue for you guys. But just the pitfalls of installing iMows or robotic mowers. Go around the boundary line. Right. We redoing it, or are we going to go in the same hole? Go in the same hole?
Yeah.
That root, I reckon it's snapped. It's pulled on that root, I think, when it's come round.